From the creators of Horrible Bosses comes another fast and furious farce based around a simple premise where things go completely awry. Game Night stars Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams as a middle-aged couple whose favorite thing to do with their friends is weekly game night. The two are incredibly competitive when the stakes are at their lowest, but when Bateman's character's brother, played by Kyle Chandler, visits, their games become even more fierce. Chandler's character informs the group that he's put together a mystery-style activity for the couples to try and solve, and in the middle of it, he ends up getting kidnapped, which everyone thinks is part of the act. As they all play the game and eventually discover that the kidnapping was real, they discover their abilities to tell what's real and what's a game are uncertain, which turns the movie into a funny, unpredictable, and over-the-top comedy. Now, a movie like Game Night runs the risk of stretching its premise too thin, but the execution is so flawless that it never runs out of gas or feels padded out. It does have one or two contrived moments, but the movie is so entertaining to watch unfold that they hardly matter. Game Night has some really good set pieces, most notably one involving playing keep away with a Fabergé egg at an underground fight club, as well as some silly side characters including Billy Magnuson as one of Bateman and McAdams' numbskulled friends, and Jesse Plemons as their awkward and lonely police officer neighbor, who all add to the fun. Game Night is wholesomely enjoyable. And now Annihilation. Alex Garland wrote and directed what was by far my favorite movie of 2015. His sci-fi psychological thriller Ex Machina about artificial intelligence and how it could possibly manipulate even the most intelligent human beings still stands out to me as a modern classic in the making. His follow-up film immediately had me excited the moment it was announced, and having now seen it, I can say it does not disappoint. Annihilation stars Natalie Portman as a professor searching for answers surrounding the disappearance of her husband, played by Oscar Isaac, who went missing after going into a bizarre quarantine zone called the Shimmer. When he miraculously returns from the zone without any memory of what he saw or what happened to his team, it's up to her to join a group of armed scientists and discover the mystery of the potentially dangerous electromagnetic field. While Ex Machina was a slow-burning cyber thriller, Annihilation is a grab-you-by-the-throat survival horror adventure that I don't think has been done this well since the earlier sequels of the Alien franchise. If the movie didn't have me intrigued by the Wonderland-like surroundings, it had me ready to shield my eyes from whatever horrific beast that's discovered to live there. One scene I won't soon forget is one involving a mutated bear with a disturbing form of mimicry. Annihilation had me ready to call it just as great, if not better than Ex Machina, until the last few minutes of its finale that I felt gave itself away just a bit too soon. Just as the movie is turning the last page, I caught on to exactly where it was going a moment or two earlier than I would have liked. This is a minuscule complaint, however, towards a movie that I found almost nothing else wrong with. Annihilation is just inches short of Garland's previous masterpiece, but it's nonetheless one of the best movies of the year, and one that emphasizes innate human fears of the unknown. And lastly, Early Man. Eddie Redmayne voices a primitive spear hunter who lives with his tribe of goofy but likable prehistoric Stone Age dwellers who discover their land is being invaded by an army of Bronze Age imperialists led by a flamboyant warlord voiced by Tom Hiddleston. The only way to keep their land and freedom is to defeat the Bronze Army not on the battlefield, but in the stadium in a match of football, or soccer, as us folks on the other side of the pond call it. Early Man comes from the warm and welcome Aardman Animation studio, known for beloved characters such as Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep. While this movie isn't as inventive or cleverly written as their other films, minor Aardman is still enjoyable. Early Man is a cheery stop-motion venture that makes up for its mostly generic plot with its plucky gags and attitude. I strongly doubt it'll be remembered as well as other offerings bearing the Aardman logo, but it's still an undemanding and inoffensive film that's hard to dislike. Thank you so much for watching. I have more reviews planned soon. As usual, I'm Logan D. McCoy, and this is Real McCoy Reviews.